All right, we are going to be cleaning the coop today. This is going to go over kind of what we basically do for our coop in here. My husband's going to be helping so I can record, and he's going to start off by just kind of blocking the chickens out so we have space to move freely. Now, while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and go over what we got at Tractor Supply. We got our bedding, and we got these pallet beddings. It rains a lot where we're at, so this bedding will actually help soak up a lot of the moisture in the coop since we don't have a floor in our coop. And then we got some DE that'll help with a lot of the pests and mites and things like that. So we usually just clean out the nesting boxes where we actually collected quite a bit of the eggs. And we can pull out the mats and wash them, which we probably will, and put some fresh bedding in it. But that's what we use to kind of block them and keep them out of the coop.
So now is when we start raking everything and stirring all of the yucky stuff. So we're going to put on our PPE. You don't have to, but I like to wear a mask and some glasses just in case anything comes up. This part's pretty quick and easy. We're just going to stir everything up because all the droppings and everything that gets left over from the chickens is all on the bottom. We're going to stir it up.
We do the deep litter method.
While we're doing this, we want to make sure anything that's on the walls and around, we're scraping it off, putting it in the bottom. We check the lid on everything. This one looks pretty good. Got some stuff on the wall. That one looks good. Just make sure everything's clean, tidied up.
So sometimes, about every 3 months, what we'll do is we'll scrape the bedding, and we actually we're turning these into our chicken garden. We haven't planted anything yet. We're prepping the beds. We laid the gravel yesterday. So we've added some compost from the chicken coop yesterday. So what he's doing is, we don't want to take all the compost out because it actually makes for a good insulation for the chicken coop. He's just mixing it around really good, and then he's going to spread it back out, and we're going to lay fresh bedding. But normally what we do is we take every 3 months we take some and we add it to our compost, which we actually have at the back of our property, and add some to these beds.
Mix it all in good. And then we'll start spreading it back out.
And I'm not sure what the roses and the TikTok symbol mean, but thank you so much for doing that. Hopefully, I would like to get some goats. We're a little nervous. We are off a highway, so I'm afraid that they might get out, but I would love to add some goats. We are considered in the city limits. We just happen to find 2 acres within the city limits.
It's spread out pretty good.
Oh yeah, I would love to have fresh milk and maybe even get like a mini cow. I'm not quite sure what our city limits is. I was reading at maybe like 2 hoof animals per every acre, but that would be nice. So right now he's going to be adding the pelletized bedding. Like I said, since we don't have a floor, it gets a lot of moisture, and this really helps when it rains. It turns into like a dust material, and it helps keep the coop dry. And we change out the bedding or add the bedding every 3 months. We could probably do it a little less in the summer, but at this point in time it rains a lot, so we've been doing it every 3 months. This go around tractor supplies for this right here cost us around $75. If I remember correctly, maybe 6 months ago I was spending a little over $50, so the prices have definitely gone up.
So you're spending 25 and not 50?
Do I? No, 75.
Inflation's getting us. But we're saving a lot of money on eggs. We just spread the pellets out.
Oh wow, goats, pigs, and ducks. That's nice. And you guys are welcome. I actually learned most of this stuff from following other creators on TikTok, and I did a lot of research. I was trying to decide what method we were going to use for bedding, and just see what kind of best fit our family. Everyone's kind of different, but we have 2 gardens right now, and I do want to do a pumpkin watermelon patch in the back, so we thought the compost way would be best for our family. Yeah, so those are PVC elbow pipes. My husband's gonna go over how he made them and what size they are on the feeders, and what he used to cut those with. I want to say they're probably 3 or 4 inches, but we can confirm in just a minute. So normally we do the bedding and then we do the DE under the bedding.
Yeah, we'll do that on top, right?
Sorry, not the bedding, the pellets. We do the pellets and then we do the DE.
The feeder through your... You want to talk about the feeder?
Yeah, we can talk about the feeders.
About.
We can talk about the feeders since it was asked.
I'm done stirring that up.
Okay.
Feeders are pretty cool. So it has to be a 90-degree elbow. If you had something straight, gravity would do its job and all the feed would just fall out. So you have to have a 90-degree. What size they are? It's probably a 3
inch. It's right there on the side.
Yep, so it's a 3-inch 90. So we actually used a plumber's type of PVC. So it's a lot thicker right here than it is on the other side. And it's meant to be like a sleeve so it can go in. So since it's bigger on this side, we can drill the hole and then you slide it in, and this part's a little bit bigger, so that helped it a lot. So I used the other end, not this end, but the bottom end. I just put it on there, traced it around, and then I just used a box knife, and I went through and cut a hole in it, and then slid it through.
We did also, that was the first bucket we did. We got the fitting. That was a lot easier for someone who doesn't want to cut.
Yeah, we cheated. We got a fitting that you can put in your drill. It's round, it has all the teeth on it. Circular, so they can go in. And then I think we had to clean it up a little bit with the box knife.
Yeah, it was a 3-inch drill, and like he said, because these stick out just a little bit on the end, so it slides in. We don't have any sealant around them, so there's no glue or anything to keep them in. They literally just slide in and out. Well, this kind of has buildup around it, but they slide in and out, and it has this lip, so it fits pretty tightly on them, and so that's how they stay.
Perfect cut. We're able to do the circle, then we clean it up a little bit with the box knife.
Right.
And then you push them in there. Then when you open it, just make sure you open your lid away from the food in case there's stuff on top. You don't want to get it in. And then we just kind of, you can see where it's seeping down in here. This is where the food, the gravity's pulling, and it goes when the chickens eat it. So we just come over every once in a while, make sure everything's mixed in. We put a lot of herbs and spices in here also, so we make sure it stays mixed up.
But we added 2 bags when?
Maybe a week ago.
A week ago. So we usually do 2 bags and we fill it up between 4 and 5 weeks, and that's about the spillage that we have always. Like, we don't have a lot of spillage. We keep it on leveled or lifted up a little bit on cinder blocks, and we kind of have the water the same way.
Yeah, the water we changed after a while. There's 2 different options. We started off with the little cups that screw into there, and it's a little cup and it fills up with water, but that water sits there and it collects mildew and you get all the debris and stuff in it. So then we saw these that people were using, so we tried it out. We've been doing this for a few months now, and it works out really well. They come in with their beaks and they hit right here, and then you can see the water pours out. We didn't know if they were going to transition from the cups to this, but they just knew how to do it. We just hit the water and showed them where it was, and then they started drinking it.
From what I read was if one will do it, the rest will follow. But we just filled up the water earlier today, and then we add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. That one, it helps keep the water clean, but it's also really good for the chickens. And then we keep those on cinder blocks. As you can see, kind of the bedding's built up around it. When we had the cups always stay dirty. These hardly stay dirty at all. Like, they always look like this. We haven't even cleaned these, I think, since we installed them. And we also made mini chicken feeders for when we add chickens to the flock. So we have mini versions of the trash cans into 5-gallon buckets.
Yeah, using the same things.
Using the same things,
and
yeah.
then we switched this not too long ago. We had several different types of laying boxes, and then we switched to this type. It was not really successful. And then wherever you found it, you found these mats. Since we switched to the mats, it doesn't look very natural and like the chickens would use it, but since we started using mats, this is where they lay all the eggs.
Yeah, they were laying behind the feeders in the water, and we could not get them to use anything. And then my husband lifted up the 2 nesting boxes on this crate that we got, and you can kind of see where he just drilled it in.
Put a screw in.
And then I got these mats off of Amazon, and they seem to really like it. When we change out the bedding, I do toss some hay or some bedding in there, but I dump it, once a week, and I never add more bedding in it. I just keep the mats clean, and they continue using the mats.
All right, now the DE.
Oh yeah, I mean, it took a while. They didn't like the cups. They hated the cups, and they weren't sure about these that we changed out into, and they ended up liking them. So yeah, I feel you. My girls hated it too. So we're going to add the DE now, and we like to do it under the bedding because of the chicken's respiratory stuff. We don't want a lot of it flying around, but we add it to everything. We add it to the roosting bars, and we add it sometimes to the feed and mix it in, and then under the bedding, just especially for summer. And it's good for a lot of stuff. We'll probably add some in the gravel as well, just around the garden.
I had a video of me cutting open a bag of feed to dump in there, which is the way I've always done it. I didn't realize it was a trade secret, but the key to that, make sure you have a good knife and you have a new blade. We've seen a lot of videos where people are cutting and you'll get all the jagged and it doesn't really cut all the way through. If you want a nice clean cut, clean blade. All right, DE.
So we just kind of sprinkle it. I mean, it doesn't have to be heavy. It's just a little bit on everything. And then I don't know if you guys are familiar with Clapper. We're not. This is our first day on it, but we're doing a live on there as well. So yes,
Clapper.
So if you guys are interested in following us, we're on there as well.
What's all the benefits of this stuff?
And it's food grade, so make sure you get food grade, because there is some that are not food grade.
What all does this keep out of here?
Mites. It helps a lot with mites and fleas, and it's really good for their digestive stuff. And we do the exact same thing in the run. So we'll let the girls inside the coop, and we'll turn out the run the same time we turn out the coop area. And then we usually have this stored in a bucket with a lid. I'm unsure what happened with that bucket and lid, so we're gonna have to find something else to store that in. That's why it's
with the bucket. I broke the bucket. And I'm gonna buy a new bucket.
He broke the bucket. That's what happened to it. And then we usually do a pack and a half in the coop and a pack and a half in the run. We don't do a lot out in the run, just because they like to dig and it doesn't need a lot of insulation because it's open, but we try to keep a lot in the coop area, so it's good for insulation. Now, since they poop a lot and they usually only use the first 2 roosting bars, we keep quite a bit of bedding under there so we can kind of turn it in and out, and it composts pretty quickly because that's where most of the poop is. Now let's talk about these roosting bars. That's where I got actually a lot of hate over them. When I posted them,
the easiest thing, we had the stair steppers to build a set of stairs. They were already here, and then we repurposed them. Well, because we were saving money and being creative.
Well, we had our deck built, and which is why we even noticed these. We were trying to decide what we were going to do for roosting bars, because we have a tin shed and the walls are so thin. And so you can't really screw anything into the walls. You can see where the holes are right here where we had a little roosting bar screwed into. So we're trying to think of a better method because we want to get more chickens. And we needed something that our chickens could grow into. And so we just saw I call them stair steppers. I know so many people corrected me over this. But I saw them and I just thought, well, if you can add wood to climb upstairs, you can add roosting bars.
It's just leftover wood from doing the run.
Yeah, so a lot of it was leftover wood from the run, and the deck area. So we just put it together, and I didn't know that was going to cause so much hate over it.
We found out there's a lot of haters. We're just trying to have chickens.
It's all about convenience. Honestly, like we're going away for the weekend, and the way we have our water system and everything set up, our chickens are good for a good weekend week. We have our neighbor that comes and collects the eggs for us, and we just let them keep whatever eggs they collect. But yeah, our chickens are self-sustaining, so we can still leave when we need to, and usually it's visiting family or whatever we want to do with the family. It's very easy to have chickens this way.
Having chickens. If you have chickens just to save money on eggs, then you're not really going to save a lot of money. But it's something fun to do with the family. The fresh eggs do taste a lot better, but it's another animal to have.
Yeah,
it's fun to keep up with.
It's definitely our hobby, and we love it. It's a lot of good therapy. Our kids love it. I mean, this is really something great for the family.
This is our second bag.
Yeah.
What is this? This is a 12 by 10. So a 12 by 10 area, with the way that we do it, we use 2 bags.
Okay, so 12 by 10. And what we'll do is some of that will actually drag out in the run part, and then we'll open the extra bag out there. So maybe you could probably build it up near the hallway area.
Yeah. And I guess the excess we'll flatten all out and then pull it out there.
Yeah.
Before we do that, do we want to go ahead and stir that up?
To what?
Stir up the stuff out there and lay pellets down? Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not asking them, I'm asking you. Alright, so go ahead and do the runner too?
Yeah.
If you want to stand in here, because we're going to have to move this.
Yeah.
And get this. So I'm going to move this so they might come running in. So just don't let them. We'll put this back where it goes.
So I got a lot of questions on how the mice don't get into the feed, but we have guineas, and I've seen these guineas go after some chipmunks and squirrels and anything that kind of comes up along this coop. They go after them and they keep out a lot of stuff. And I've seen no mice in the coop. I'm not saying like they haven't come or even at night, but our guineas usually take care of them for us. And we are dreading the day we find a snake, but we have not found a snake yet. Sorry, it's going to be loud for a second. Eventually, we're going to upgrade the doors and build doors onto the wood part. We just haven't gotten there yet. We do have a dust bath. We don't have everything prepped today, but I'll probably do a video and post it on TikTok. This is a dust bath area. They actually really, really like it. And what we do is we usually do soil, and then there's this dust bath mix from Walmart you can get. And we also mix it with wood ash that doesn't have anything burned in it. So, no newspaper, ink, or anything. We just use directly any wood that we burn from our fireplace, and we mix that in with the soil, and we kind of fill this up. And I only fill it up every 3 to 6 months, if even. And they were all using it still in this area, and then this area they'll usually do a dust bath. Cluck Norris.
Keeps all the rodents out. Alright, so pellets.
Yes. So that's our Easter egger. She lays green eggs. And then this is our newest one. It's called a bluebell. I did get her at Royal King, and she just started laying little blue eggs. I'm not sure what she's actually mixed with for her to be a bluebell, but her sister ended up being a brother, and we found someone starting out with chickens, and we did just give them her brother because they were really wanting a rooster. They don't like the noise.
These out.
Yeah, so same thing. Our run actually is kind of slightly sloped, so it does not hold a lot of water. So we don't really have to make sure that it has a lot of pellets. We just usually make sure the coop area has a lot of pellets so they have like a dry place to go. But we just like to make sure that if there is any spots with moisture, we have the pellets down for when it rains. And they're gonna get some mealworms after this. That way they're not too shocked by his cleaning. Which we have not given them fresh mealworms, so we are growing our own mealworms, and we've gotten a lot of eggs that look red, so I'm guessing there'll be mealworms soon. Right now we just still feed them dried mealworms. But once we get our system up and going, we're going to hopefully start feeding them live mealworms. Don't forget to put some of that on the roosty bars. So usually me and my daughter do this part, and sometimes my son who's a lot younger. But my husband is off today, so he wanted to help out. And he's always a really big help. He does whatever he can on the weekends when he's home from work. And then sometimes I mix the DE in with their dust bath when I make it. So that'll also be mixed in there with the ash and stuff. So he's just gonna pull out all the excess. And move on this side, some standing in the way. So since it's kind of getting warmer, and we probably just had our last frost, this should stay dry and like this. Maybe not this nice, but for at least a good 2 weeks. And then every couple weeks will help just kind of smooth it out and rake it. But the chickens naturally scratch, so they naturally turn it up, which will help turn it into compost, and we'll just use that for our garden. And we don't really cover heavy in the run because they like to dig for worms and stuff like that. But he's going to get the last bag. Yeah, see, we're going to replace those doors soon. So we were going to have a wooden coop, and it was actually going to be on that side, which is why we have the metal braces in there. That's loud. Anyways, we started building the coop last summer. When we first got them, they were baby chicks, but the wood price just skyrocketed in the middle of doing it. We were taking our time, so I'm talking about within a 3-month time, the wood price just kept going up and up and up. So we saw this shed on sale. So it was cheaper to get the metal shed, and to be honest, I actually really like it. We just slid it into the run that we already had built. And that's why it kind of has that weird frame around the outside of it. And we do not like the doors, but we just haven't done it yet. We haven't added the extra doors to the wood frame. So that's our next project sometime this summer, so we can get rid of these sliding doors. But overall, we're really happy with the coop. We ended up taking off the middle panel, and we did save it. So when we had a bad winter and really heavy winds, we'll put the panel over to block the winds. And that's the coop we started out with. What we thought would be enough for 4 chickens is what we originally started out with. And we quickly realized when they were babies that there is just no way that coop is going to hold 4 chickens. So we ended up keeping it and saving it because we use it for like when we got our Bluffton Orpington right here, Bluff Orpington. She got broody, which is why we have another edition. We gave her little chicks, and we kept her and the baby chicks out there inside this coop so she could still be with the flocks but care for the chickens, and it separated them. So if you guys start off with something small, you can definitely repurpose it and use it and keep it to contain sick chickens and anything like that.
Door.
Door. So we have right now 5 hens and 2 guineas, and we're wanting to get a couple more this summer. I'm not sure about the foamy eye and the breathing, but I have joined a lot of Facebook page groups that have vets in them, and they answer a lot of questions all the way down to like bumblefoot and stuff. So I would definitely recommend joining some Facebook poultry pages that allow questions like that on there for vets. These are our girls.
That's it.
And that is it.
Like less than 30 minutes and you can turn the whole thing.
Yeah, so it usually takes us about 30 minutes. Now, at the same time, we usually do add the feed and the water. We just did that a different day, so that's why we didn't have to do it this time. You're welcome. But yeah, so if anyone has any questions, definitely just let me know. I wouldn't do it on the video that I have the most views on. I usually try to answer every comment left on all my videos because I'm a small creator, but I just cannot keep up with the comments on my viral video. But you know, we like to share what we kind of do. We're off a highway, so it's a little bit loud right now. But our guinea is, she tastes it and then she spits it out. They're both girls, which I love guinea eggs. The guinea eggs have been great. They both lay really nice tasting eggs. I've never had guinea eggs until I had guineas. And when I got them, I didn't even know if they were going to be a boy or a girl. It was just kind of a guessing point. But we wanted them because we didn't want a rooster. And that was a great decision for us. Yes, I can show you the water and feeder. And we can go over that one more time. So these are the doors. They're loud. And see, we have the frame at the bottom, so hopefully we'll get those created. Someone asked to re-see it. They came in late.
Start with the food.
Yeah.
So 3-inch 90-degree elbows. We use plumber's PVC, just like you would use for putting the plumbing stuff together. Because if you do just PVC, it's going to be the same width all the way down. If you do one that's at a coupling, then it's a little bit bigger here. So since it's a little bit bigger, we take this diameter and draw a circle so we know what to cut out. We just use a drill bit, one of those rotator saws that you put into a drill, and then drill a hole through, and then clean it up with a box knife. Then you stick this side through, and it goes into the feeder. If you have to use a 90, if you use something straight on, gravity will do its job and everything will just dump out. But when you use a 90, all the feed comes from the top and it sinks down, and it just stays at the bottom. As they are at the very bottom down there eating food, this will slowly just keep falling further and further down. And then every once in a while, you'll see right here, there's barely any food. It's on the back, and then you just kind of mix it up again.
And we added the bedding so you can't see it, but it's on cylinder blocks like the water is. So it has minimum spillage.
You can see the food in there.
Yeah.
And these are not going all the way down to the bottom. They
Right.
come up maybe a few inches. That way the feed stays at the bottom. The chickens stick their head in there, eat the feed, and then it just keeps falling down.
Right. You can see.
And they do it just like that.
Just like that. And my chickens actually usually eat what they spill. I mean, there's minimum waste.
Yeah, they spill some out, and then other people eat it.
Oh.
Oh, you scared them.
Sorry, I was
Like
trying to get
water,
the one.
We did, this is our newest type of water. We've been doing this for a few months, but we used to have cups. You drill a hole into the plastic container, you put a thread through, and you put a bolt on the other side. It has a little cup. We didn't like the cups as much because they get really dirty and you get poop inside of them and you get all the sawdust and everything else. And the water sits there for a while and it mildews.
Well, when we had the cups, the other issue was it froze and it
That's
broke.
right.
It broke
they
a
would freeze
cup.
too,
Yes.
because the water sits there.
Right.
So then with these, the chicken puts their beak on them, and you can already see the water kind of built up, and you push on it, and the water comes out. Naturally, they're really good at it. We've never cleaned these. These are exactly how they look from the day we put them on there.
Yeah, these don't hold any of the dirt just because the water's constantly running down. And we just filled it up, and we add a little bit of apple cider vinegar with the mother into it. But yeah, so that's our water system. I mentioned it earlier. I don't know when you joined, but this kind of allows us to go away for the weekend. So it's really, I like to call it the lazy way of keeping chickens. And then our guineas take care of anything that might get into the feed.
Rodents, snakes.
Yeah. But that's it. That's kind of it. The only thing we have left to do in the coop is the dust bath, but I'll just probably pre-record a video and just post it to my page. which is what the white chicken's standing on, which my daughter named that one Lucy. So, and there's our Easter egger. And then these are kind of the eggs that we collected from the box that we'll bring inside. So that is it. Thank you guys for joining us, and we will talk to y'all later. Oh yes, we have both kids in baseball and softball, so we travel a lot on the weekends, and then my parents live a couple hours away, so we travel to go see them. And then I'm from Texas, so we make a lot of Texas trips.
Guinea egg.
Oh yeah, this is a guinea egg. So it's a little speckled. Hold on, it's kind of going up. It's a little speckled, and it's really hard, like a lot harder than regular chicken eggs. And these are really
brown
good.
eggs too. That's not a guinea egg. This is a regular brown egg, and then that's a guinea egg. You can see the textured surface.
Oh man, I miss Texas. I'm from Waco, but most of my family's in North Texas. And then this is our Easter egger egg. And this is our newest laying, blue. And then that one's from our leghorn. And we have a couple more in there. So that's about it. That's all we got. All right. I will post some more videos for you guys. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks for joining.